Recording in progress. Got it.
Hi, this is Alex Sicken with the American Bros podcast. It's we're live and on Zoom, so it's kind of weird to introduce
Heyo.
myself to Nick.
Good to see our beautiful faces now. This is a really an upgrade for anybody who might be listening to this or watching this.
Yeah, I should probably I'll mute the audio. So
Did you just mute me? Is that what we're doing now?
no, I could hear you, but no, yeah. So I can hear you through.
I've only been using Zoom for a couple of years now. Excuse our technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're not used to
Technology. What is this? This piece of glass in front of me is lighting up, and I can see Alex's face. It's disturbing me.
Yeah, we could just extract the audio from the MP4, but we're recording on Green Room just in case.
Well, it's always good to have backups. So
yeah, so this is the second episode of season 5. We're adding some audio visuals to our audio, and we'll send that to Trevor to figure out because Trevor really wanted to do a YouTube version basically from the beginning.
and Trevor, I think unfortunately enough, is working probably right now. Because if he wasn't working, then we would just harass him until he came here and joined our call, as opposed to doing whatever else he might be wanting to do. So he must be working. What else could he be doing?
Yeah. This allows us to share a screen if we have things that we want to show you. And I don't really have anything I want to show, but Nick might. So I saw that you did some black and white photos. What have you been working on lately?
Yeah. A couple of, I don't even know what fucking week it was. Last week, I think. Was it last week? Anyway, yeah, last Friday, a week from tomorrow, week before tomorrow. Anyway, I went out and did a little more photography, and I've been trying to add more to my series of. I have a series called A Dark World. It's these not portraits, these landscapes, kind of nature photos. But I bring my red light in, my flash, and I augment the landscape with that. So I do a lot of trees, kind of natural stuff with these kind of abstract colors. And there's a cemetery kind of, I don't know, I would say maybe 40 minutes up the coast from me. That's pretty cool. So I went up there, and I've been there multiple times, but I never brought my digital camera with the light and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some photography, and then I got there pretty early, like shortly after sunrise. And then after it had been, once it was morning, I thought, well, I might as well not waste the moment. And it was pretty foggy, which is perfect for a creepy moss-covered cemetery. There's all this hanging moss on the trees. So I just pulled my film camera out and did a few photos there. But I need to do more because back in May or June, I took a couple trips up to this massive necropolis. This cemetery is in Colma, California, right below San Francisco. And from what I've heard, the dead outnumber the living. So it's quite a lot of graves there. And I took a ton of photos, and I have a graveyard photography Instagram account that I run. And that was, I set up a lot of posts for that, but now I'm running out. I thought to myself, oh, this will last me months. This will be till September or October. And now here I am. I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to go and take more photos. So
yeah, I was
I
wondering
have to
how
do that.
we're going to maintain, or how you maintain that account, because it seems like you're active on it.
Yeah, I do. I try to do a post per day, and for the last week or two, I've been kind of lax on that. I might do one every 2 days because I don't have that much new content. And I had another 30 drafts in Instagram saved up, but they were on my old phone. For some reason, everything migrates when you transfer iPhones, except for your posts on Instagram, your drafts.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be asked to do that again, so
oh man.
now I'm just kind of thinking, well, it's an excuse to go be creepy at a graveyard this weekend, so I'm not going to complain because I'm kind of doing that all the time anyway. So anyway, yeah, I've taken some photos. How about you? How's your week or two been? How's it going in Alex's world?
I'm working on a pretty complicated project, and basically working on all week. got a couple other side projects, but one thing I've been working on is trying to practice drawing with my tablet.
Yeah, you mentioned that I think last time, didn't you? That or sometime I talked to you.
Yeah, my first project I'm planning to do is a thumbnail for the next season 5, and it'll have
Like album artwork, kind of like for the podcast.
yeah,
Are you gonna draw us all?
yeah. It's I don't know if you noticed that thumbnail for the Talk to You Later show. It has Trevor sitting next to me and my wife.
Have I not seen that? Continue
Yeah,
talking. I'm
I
gonna
was
find that.
going to I don't yeah, it was hard for me to find a picture, so I probably won't be able to find it again. But the complete picture has my mom and my dad sitting on the other side of the table. So I'm gonna have you and Kyler sitting on one side of the table, and Trevor and I just hanging out on next to around the table.
So you're like, are you just gonna draw like a impression of like, are you sure you're drawing this now, or
Yeah, I'm
like,
gonna draw it.
oh, that's cool. Make sure I'm wearing a really cool leather jacket. I'm not
Okay.
doing that now, but every other moment of my life, I am. It's just a little warm in here right now.
Yeah, I'll make sure you have a leather jacket. Yeah. So I finally found a picture to draw. Took me like a week to find that picture for some reason. I put it
Oh, there it
on,
is. I see that picture. Yeah, so the one on the Talk to You Later show is like it's a photograph.
yeah, it's cropped. And
Yeah,
I
yeah, I see
got the
that now.
full, I found the full picture. It took me a while to do that. And I put it on my canvas, and I realized that I had to put the layer that I'm drawing on above the layer so I could draw on top of the picture, so I could get like the format and the proper shape of people and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, when you do a layer above a photograph, you're just tracing it, kind of, right?
Yeah. So I'm still learning a bunch of those little things.
Oh, good. It's cool to have a hobby like that and get back into it, right?
Yeah. And it's only 3,000 by 3,000 pixels, so it's not that much space to draw on, but
Well, it's
it's
probably enough for whatever you need to do. I mean, when you end up getting famous and you go to conventions and make massive banners, then hire a retoucher like me to blow up your photo and make it look beautiful. Otherwise, I think you'll be okay with 3,000 wide.
yeah, I did that because that's like the standard size for thumbnails, at least for Anchor.
They ask for 3,000 wide.
Yeah, 3,000 by 3,000.
Wow, it's pretty big. Go off, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, my goal is to do that by the end of the month, and we could have that art for the when I edit the next episode for the Bear Taking Bros podcast. And hopefully Kyler will have a song also that we could add to start the next season on there.
Yeah, I totally panicked and I was like, fuck, I haven't done anything musical in a really long time. So like a couple hours a day, I was like just smacking my keyboard in frustration, trying to get something to come out of me. And it kind of did. So I might have something as well, but we'll see how violent that is and if the birthing process of that new song doesn't kill me.
That sounds good. That'd be interesting.
Beauty is pain.
Okay. Yeah. So would you like to?
So
Well, I haven't really
so
learned much about the Facebook leaks. What was that about?
that that's it. I normally I would want to talk about that, but I kind of feel like maybe we should save that until we have, no offense, but until we have like kind of a bigger cast, 3 or 4 people, because it'd be kind of interesting to pass this topic along. And all of us say, if you're a currently living person, there's probably a better chance than not that you've interacted with the Facebook property somehow,
Yeah.
Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever. And it'd be kind of interesting for us to maybe sometime outline a little bit about what's been going on with Facebook, and then just talk about Facebook in general. Like everybody has a different opinion about them. Some people don't really care about what's been going on about sort of all this, the whistleblower and all these leaks. Other people think Facebook is kind of one of the worst companies in existence right now. I mean, there's a wide range of attitudes about Facebook. So hey, maybe we should tease that right now, that we are
Yeah.
probably going to talk about Facebook in the future, but I don't want to just kind of like, I don't want to waste such a juicy, it's a spicy meatball. It's what it is. So we should share that meatball with our co-hosts next time they're available to record.
Yeah. I don't really think Facebook is that special for me. I just use it as a platform to share all my stuff. I think it does get more engagement than most social networks, but
Well, when you say most social networks, what other social networks are you talking about? Like other than that, like what do you like? What other social networks are used right now other than Facebook and Instagram? And I guess, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could maybe call is WhatsApp it's like a messaging app, and I guess you could call Snapchat maybe a social network, or Twitter a social network. But
yeah.
I mean, it's not like back, I guess, in the heyday of everybody trying to start out their own social networks 10 or 15 years ago, whenever that was.
Yeah, I share the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and
For some reason, I always think about
Getty,
Facebook
and
spelled
LinkedIn.
like football, like FEISBUK, Facebook. I don't know. It helps, but
I share it
yeah.
on Mastodon and Parler and Pinterest.
Isn't Mastodon a metal band?
Mastodon is a decentralized Twitter.
And also, don't use fucking Parlor, but we'll talk about that later. Anyway,
And Snapchat and Tumblr.
you use Tumblr?
Yeah, just to, yeah.
No, nothing wrong with it. I was just surprised, I guess. I never, for some reason, I didn't associate you with Tumblr, but yeah.
Yeah. And I could get into my first topic. Have you heard of Polkadot, the blockchain?
I haven't. Enlighten me, please.
Well, they Polkadot was a vision of one of the co-founders of Ethereum. His name is Gavin Wood. He he envisioned, or he expected there's going to be many blockchain projects, and he thought that it would be necessary to have them um, change assets with each other. So Polkadot, you have all these dots of all these many blockchains in it. I think that's why it's called Polkadot, because all these dots represent different blockchains, and Polkadot allows them to switch assets with each other.
It's a cryptocurrency exchange.
Yeah. And it's they announced their first, they're basically launching, and they're gonna start mid-December. So what they're gonna do to add some competition and stuff is that they're gonna have an auction for slots. The first auctions will sell or auction 5 slots, and yeah, it'll be a week-long auction to see how long or who will be chosen to be the first 5 blockchains to be part of this, the launch of Polkadot, basically. I was invited to, they call it a crowd loan, where you kind of support the auction by submitting some money, and it helps the bid amount for the auction to increase.
Okay, well, yeah, friend to friend, buddy to buddy. Don't put money into something that they're just going to take the money. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah, they with these crowd loans, they are planning they would use the money that you loan them for 2 years, and then they'll give the money back to you. and they have some awards or rewards also. They'll give you that on top of giving back your money. So yeah, that's I'm kind of excited for that because I'm being able to participate in the beginning of the blockchain, and right now it's only like $40. But if it's going to be as valuable as Ethereum, this Polkadot that's currently worth about $40 could be worth like $4,000 or something later on. So I'm hoping to get in early, kind of.
Yeah, sort of like with a lot of those things. I mean, in anything like that, people who get in early are most likely to be the ones who make more money off the whole enterprise. I keep going back and forth on almost everything crypto related, like cryptocurrency, NFTs. A big part of me really wants a lot of money. So I kind of want to just like find a way to invest myself somehow, my assets. Not that I have any, but like I'd like to find a way to, hey, if I can use this to somehow make more money than I had before, I might be kind of interested in it. On the other hand, I just sort of I have both technical and moral questions about it all. So I'm a little bit like part of me just wants to sweep it all under the rug and say, oh, fuck cryptocurrency. Like I want to be an old man, and be like, oh, fuck this. But part of me is like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be so quick to dismiss it because if I can use this to my advantage, I don't know. Right now at this point, like I've heard a few people. You're kind of an enthusiast. I have my cousin's husband is really into it. He was talking to me about it last time we saw each other, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I know these. I don't know anything about it. My friend, I feel like it's the story, a constant story. It's always, oh, I don't know anything about cryptocurrency, but my my cousin's husband's friend does, and I can maybe get these cryptocurrencies and get it to work." Or in this case, like, oh, Alex knows this or that. It's never like I never actually sit down and learn what I should learn about all this to really know how it's all working and going down. And hey, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty smart guy. So if I really wanted to, I probably could learn about it. But I'm always like, well, I could do this, or I could like do anything else. I could sit here and do nothing and probably just not waste my time on it. But hey, I'll be the one who's sad if I end up not making a bunch of money by cryptocurrency somehow. So I don't know. I'm on the
Yeah,
fence. I should still find. I should I find a way to get to I don't even know what the word would be like uh, get into cryptocurrency. Yeah, hey, if I do that, that would be great. But I don't know. I don't have any stake in any of it yet, but I'm thinking about it.
yeah. I was gonna say that I don't really the Alcala project. It's like the stable coin of uh, Polkadot, and it's gonna be Ethereum compatible. I was they sent me an email telling me how to prepare, and I don't really understand how to prepare. I tried to buy some block or some um, Polkadot, and you can't even buy it on their app, so it's kind of weird to be in this early stage. I thought I bought some on the Uphold app that I use, but it wasn't really associated with the blockchain. It's maybe like it's a custodial wallet, so they could just do whatever and say, "Oh, this is Polkadot. You bought this much," and just match the value of it, and not really have it connected to the blockchain. Um, but yeah, they said that to connect to the Polkadot blockchain, you have to get this browser extension to but I'm not really used to browser extensions, so I'm a little slow to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't really use. I guess I consider myself a power user of computers and devices in general, but I actually don't use that many extensions either. I have an ad blocking extension, but some people get really into it. They really personalize their web browsing experience with all these extensions, and for the most part, I guess I'm fine kind of not doing that. But maybe both of us should explore that because I feel like there's a lot of extensions that could probably, I don't know, be useful in some way.
Yeah, my Ethereum finally is like in the green. So I was
That's
thinking
that's a really um,
maybe I could
confidence-inducing thing.
transfer that value into Polkadot. I have to figure out that still. Yeah, so the Polkadot auctions for the first 5 parachains is starting on November 11th. So people that are listening or you want to prepare for that, their opportunities. Um, and it'll be, yeah, each auction lasts 1 week long. And after the 5 are chosen, they'll launch on the 15th of December. So those first 5 blockchains will be able to talk to each other and stuff.
I guess we'll have to see how it all works out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they tested out this already with another blockchain project called Kusama that I told you about. I got a NFT on it. So it's not the first time they tried it. They figured it out after with the test of Kusama.
Cool. So yeah, I didn't come super prepared with a lot of interesting topics. I guess a sort of general topic, because I'm the resident fanboy who buys too many Apple products. We've had a lot of Apple news kind of recently, which was interesting. The phone was announced, the phone came out, the watch was announced, the watch will be available tomorrow. I'm taking delivery of my ridiculous new watch tomorrow. So unfortunately, I can't
Nice.
talk about the new Apple Watch that came out, but I will be able to talk about it next time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I bought the stainless steel model with the link bracelet, so a ridiculous purchase, but I really wanted it. And it's funny. I mean, I don't know what this says about me, but honestly, if I'm gonna, I I'm not, well, I'm not. I like to say, I already have to rephrase that. Yes, I am somebody who cares kind of about what I wear, and I want, like, if I'm gonna be wearing it and displaying it, it has to be something that I'm choosing because I like the way it looks too. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting that that's a way that Apple fucking makes another couple $100 off me because I don't really like the way the aluminum watches look. So here I am buying this fucking stainless steel one. But it really, the stainless steel one, like I have one of them on right now, and it looks a little more like a watch, and it matches all the other stainless steel. Like I have silver rings and I wear silver jackets and all this stuff. So I'm excited to upgrade that. I'm on a Series 4 watch right now, which is not that old, but I guess what, 3 years old or something. So I'm not one of those people actually who upgrades every year with the watch. So it'll be kind of fun to get the new always on display. That's the biggest thing that I don't
Yeah,
have.
I
It's
like
it's
it.
been there for a couple of years, but um, I used to think, hey, I'm fine, raising my watch like that and seeing the time, but now that I think, I bet you all get used to seeing the display always on, and then I won't be able to go back. But so anyway, I bought one of those that should be coming tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that link bracelet too. It's like a steel. It'll look more like a real watch, I guess. But this Milanese band I've had for a super long time. I've had this for like 6 years, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've worn it everywhere. Hiking, camping, swimming in the ocean, to work every day. Still looks and works totally fine. So yeah, the nice Apple watches are expensive, but like the quality is there. So I'm really hoping that I'm going to be excited about the next one. I think I will be. So I guess that's kind of the what how is Nick setting his wall on fire this week kind of thing. I did that, and then there's a new Apple event coming on Monday, so that'll be interesting. It's the day before the big Google Pixel event.
Oh
And
man.
normally Apple does stuff on Tuesdays, right? But I think that they're smart enough to know that maybe we should do all the tech news on Tuesday. So they're going to do their event on Monday. And that's widely expected to be new Macs. And here
Yeah.
I am literally talking to you on this beautiful new iMac that I bought. And I 100% knew that this is that the bigger models will be coming, whether this event or maybe next year. That said, hey, I'm I'm like I love my phone, I love my iPad, but the Mac is where my heart is. So if we'll just have to see. We'll see after Monday what happens. We'll see, like set my cash on fire, set my bank account on fire, set my credit cards on fire. How many things do I have to throw into the incinerator to get a little bit of happiness into this dual life?
So is your link watch band thing, is the links gonna be that small, or is it gonna be like larger links?
I bought the Apple one. I've wanted it for years. Apple makes a stainless steel link bracelet. It looks kind of like more of a, I guess you've seen those watches before. Tons of watchmakers make bands where they have like a kind of a buckle, sort of. You click it and
Yeah.
like the whole thing, it kind of unfolds and expands. So you can put it on your wrist. And like I said, I've been using this magnetic Milanese loop, which is like a kind of a metal mesh, and that really fits my aesthetic and looks great. But I kind of wanted that thing, and I think it's a sort of similar width to this, but it's like sort of like little panels of polished steel that go around. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, it might look a little formal, I think, but it'll be kind of fun to maybe find something else. 'Cause I've been wearing this for like 5 or 6 years. It'd be nice to try something different. I have a couple other bands too, but every time I wear one of those sport bands, they're really nice. They're great. All the Apple Watch bands are really well made, but I'm always like, oh, I could be wearing this steel one right now. So it's hard not to, because um, like I said, I have a lot of steel on me already. I have a pair of boots that have these steel chains below them, and I have silver rings, and I have steel all over my fucking jacket. So I'm like, well, I don't want to. I can't stop now. So I have to get the steel model of everything. It has to be shiny and silver so that I can wear it. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, I didn't realize that Apple sold those directly. I thought it was maybe new this generation or something.
Yeah, they've sold. I mean, when the Apple Watch came out in 2015, they sold aluminum, steel, and then like $10,000 solid gold watches. Those didn't last too long, but no, they've been making steel and titanium and ceramic options for like the kind of higher end for the long time. But the hardware in them is basically the same
Hmm.
as the aluminum ones. It's just like a nicer case material. But it's funny because a lot of people don't care, and that's totally fine. A lot of people are like, "Hey, I just want a smartwatch that has a good screen and has features." But to me, I don't know. Like, well, call me whatever you want, but I kind of feel like if you're gonna be, I don't know, if you're gonna be wearing something, you want it to be something that you're happy to look at and that you're happy to be wearing. Like if this wasn't a smartwatch, would you wear it? Does it look decent? And as other than it being a black void on your wrist, when it lights up, it looks fine. But I don't know. I'm blessed enough, I guess, to say that I can spend the money a little bit extra to like get something that I like the look of. And maybe I'm just attracted to shiny objects, but we'll see. So I'm hoping that it comes early tomorrow. When the Apple stuff, for some reason, usually gets delivered pretty early. Um, so new watch, new Macs are coming out on Monday. I'm talking to you on my new iMac. I'm joining this call from my new iPhones. This has been an expensive autumn, but um, I don't really have any regrets because I'm totally whipped, and I will be on the Apple train probably till I die.
So is the Apple Watch 4, does it have a smaller screen, or are you gonna get a bigger screen that?
Yeah, so the one I have right now, there's been like three screen sizes. The one Series 0 through Series 3 had like kind of this original size screen, and then the Series 4 and onwards have had like a bigger one. And then
Oh yeah,
Series
they have the
5
bigger
started
one.
having the always on screen, and the Series 7, the new one, has an even bigger screen where the bezels around the screen are very small.
Hmm.
Um, so that'll be a nice change. That plus the just in general the screen that's always on, it'll be nice. But we're getting closer to the dream, because originally when the watch came out, it looked like it was all screen, but really it was black bezel with a screen, and all the watch faces
Oh
had black
yeah.
around them. So it looked, with the OLED screen and stuff, it looked kind of like the screen was bigger than it was, but the technology wasn't there. And now
Hmm.
it's there to pretty much be all screen. So
Yeah.
that'll be that'll be nice, I guess. But I don't know. I mostly just use my watch for notifications, and then I turn the workouts on when I go for walks. I haven't actually been working out in quite a while, so I should probably get on that, especially the holidays coming up. But
Yeah.
do you wear anything right now? Are you wearing any sort of watch or fitness tracker?
I'm wearing a Whoop right here. I should be getting a new one in like 4 to 6 weeks, or 5 to 7 weeks, and he's my, I think it's the 5 or 6. I think it's
Does it have the screen has rounded corners?
yeah. It doesn't turn off or the screen unless I tell
The
it.
screen stays on when you like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably because that must be at least a Series 5.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
yeah, the
bought
Apple Watch is
it
awesome.
like middle of last year. So it might be.
And so you're wearing that plus the other thing. What is the other thing on your wrist giving you, like in addition to the Apple Watch?
And the Whoop.
I feel like we
is
have talked about it
here.
before, but in this context, I guess I was curious, like what specifically is like making you wear one device on either wrist?
It's they. I expect that they could probably get the same data if they integrated what data they want into the Apple Watch, but they want to have more advanced technologies in this. The main reason why I use this is because it has live coaching, so I can balance my effort in my workout with how well I'm rested and recovered.
Hmm.
So if I didn't have if I didn't sleep enough, and I shouldn't work out too much. So it says like, oh, you should only work out maybe 20 minutes today. So when I go work out, it could tell me exactly when to stop to optimize the workout, so I don't work out too much or too little.
I wish that worked for me. For me, it's more like I have to keep walking and I have to keep lifting whatever I'm doing because I need to fit in those fucking pants I just bought. Can't afford to return those now.
Yeah. That's the main reason why I wear this. I also wear this. This is the Aura ring.
Doesn't I Justine wear one of those?
I don't know. It has the little things inside here. It looks like there's 3.
I do think that's pretty cool. As somebody who wears kind of a lot of stuff in my hands already, I'm totally used to really chunky jewelry, which I love. But so I was kind of thinking, but it also is so plain. It looks like a wedding band, and like, believe it or not, I'm actually not married, so I feel like I should probably like again, that comes back to it. Actually, it's like I buy the watch. I buy the nicer watch because it's something that I want to have on my wrist. With that ring, it's borderline for me. It's functional, but like it's not as cool as these fused silver and gold bands that I already have. So I'm sort of like, do I want to put a plain band on one of my fingers, or do I not? I don't know.
Yeah, my original wedding ring is kind of hollow on the inside, so if I like wash my hands and stuff, junk will get in it. No, I don't.
Hmm.
I kind of quit wearing it because I didn't want to get dirty and disgusting. So this works well, so it won't get disgusting. This also coaches me on my sleep, and
How often do you have to charge that?
I charge my ring and my Whoop bracelet once a week.
Oh, that's actually really great. I charge my Apple Watch every night.
Yeah. Um,
Maybe I should look into one of those rings too. I don't know. At this point, people are gonna think whatever they think. So, if I walk up to those old ladies, they'll probably be better if they think I'm married already.
yeah, I like having this analyze my sleep as well as multiple devices, so I could have like a well-rounded perspective of different. Because this might say that my heart rate variation is low, but this one might say it's like normal, and my
In that case, that just means that either the technology doesn't exist to get it right, or one of the devices is wrong. I mean, like,
yeah, I have my Apple Watch also to double check. So whatever is, if
I think most of the heart rate devices are pretty accurate, right? From what I've heard, the Apple Watch is, at least when measuring your heartbeat, pretty accurate. And I'm assuming everything else that does stuff like that is relatively accurate. I mean, you shouldn't be getting completely disparate results between just a heart rate monitoring device, right? Unless it's just badly made. Like your stuff, I mean, if you're like
yeah,
going through a panic attack, they should all probably be able to tell that your heart rate is elevated versus if you're sleeping, they should be able to tell that it's lower. There might be a difference within a certain range, right, of heartbeat, but I'm hoping that there's a certain level of quality that that most of the devices that measure that can get it right most of the time.
Yeah, when I first read reviews, they said that the Whoop is like not super accurate, and I don't wear this very tight because it's uncomfortable when I sleep. I don't want my hand to like go to sleep or anything while I'm sleeping. So this is a little loose when I sleep, so it may not be as accurate as
I do think, depending on what it
wearing.
uses, I know the Apple Watch uses kind of an optical thing, and I think it's supposed to be relatively snug. Like there shouldn't be too much play in it. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I don't know what method that uses.
if I would prefer that this has a more maybe flexible band, so it
Is
won't
it
be
just like
like,
a plastic or rubber that's pretty stiff?
yeah. So that's why it may not be as accurate.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in all these wearable things. I've taken it for granted now for years because I got an Apple Watch when it came out. I've been able to have notifications and basic computing on my wrist for a long time. So I just kind of always assume that it's like I feel very naked now without it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've left without my watch, but when I don't have it, I kind of feel like wow, it's like it almost feels like having a backup. Like you have your watch and your phone. So if something gets lost, hey, you still have something with you to get. And I don't even do anything. I don't have any friends or family that want to talk to me most of the time. I'm mostly just kind of doing my own thing. But the idea is it just you feel very disconnected after you've gotten used to it. I don't know. I do. So uh,
Yeah. This past week, I started talking to vendors more at work, and I got a call from a vendor, and I was able to answer it on my watch because my phone was already at my desk and stuff. So
yeah, I did that the other day too. I was at one of our stores and I was remodeling kind of, so I was painting. I was like, I was in a ridiculous lab coat and like had paint in my hands and I was on like on a ladder. And then somebody called me and it was for work things. I was like, oh yes, I'm talking to them and like painting still. And that was perfect. I was like, you know what? Hey, for all the for how ridiculous and kind of unnecessary these things seem to be, it's when in those few moments when it actually works for you, the way that it's advertised, like wow, you can take a call on your watch, it does make you realize, oh, that was cool, you know.
yeah.
Was it worth spending hundreds of dollars? I don't know, maybe, but when it works, it does feel like a little, for me it feels like a little moment of like the future is now. I always go back to, for myself, I go back to the first time I had a video call on a phone or an iPad completely off of Wi-Fi. Like this is back in 2010 or 11 or whenever they enabled that for FaceTime or whatever, just to be on Skype or FaceTime on my phone, walking around the city or the town, and just to have a video call. That felt really futuristic to me. Like, wow, we have video phones now, and part of me gets that a little bit when I have a call on my watch. My phone's not even near me, and I can just start talking to somebody while I'm doing something. It
Hmm.
feels pretty fun. So I feel like that novelty hasn't completely worn off on me because we always, I don't know, I mean, I'm still part of the generation of people who grows up thinking, okay, a watch is a watch, it tells the time, and here we are. It's really a computer now, and the chips in it are like probably as fast as iPhones from 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
it's a little computer. So I don't know. I'm not sold as the watch as being sort of the god device that can just do everything, but I'm sold on it as like it can be useful. I think you know what I mean. Like it's not totally unnecessary. I think if you're somebody who wants to remain connected to your phone in a way and can tolerate having something on your wrist, it can be helpful.
Yeah. When I first saw somebody talking with their Apple Watch walking around at BYU Idaho, I thought it was really clunky and weird to talk to somebody on their wrist.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I'd probably still feel like a douche if I was doing it in public. I'd be like, "Oh, hello, this is Nick. I need to talk to you right now." Um,
yeah.
but and like I was totally that guy. Like a week after the Apple Watch came out, that I'm going to Starbucks and being like, "I'm gonna pay with my watch." So,
Yeah.
I mean, so much for that. But um, it is, yeah. It's funny how it can take a while sometimes for technology to spread within people. You know, originally it was kind of really surprising to use mobile payments in the US for paying at the store, and now it's really common. I see people all the time using their phones and watches to pay for stuff. I work at a, partly a retail store, and I have customers of all ages and types and genders and just everything. Who like I'll have like an older person walk up, and you think, oh, this grandma doesn't know anything about technology, and she walks up and she's like, I'll pay for my order, and she just Apple Watches it, and you're like, of course you will. Like here we are, you know. And part of it is that I'm like right, I'm sort of in a seaside town right near Silicon Valley, so it's a perfect storm of like rich people who have more technology than sense, but they're learning how to use it. You know, so I love watching because I'm an early adopter of all this stuff. I get the new phone, I get the new watch. I love knowing, oh wow, like here's a feature that pretty normal people are actually using, because I can kind of lose sight of that. You know, I pay attention to all this Apple or whatever news, Google News or whatever it is, and we always think, oh, this is a great feature of whatever, we're going to use it. But is it a feature that the average person will use? And a lot of the time, they won't. But sometimes it's
Mhm.
fun to go, wow, this is actually being used by normal people, not just technology enthusiasts. I feel like mobile payments, at least I guess I should rephrase that. Apple Pay is being used like that. I've seen Samsung Pay like once or twice. And I see Apple Pay like every day. So it's behind, I think, with the Android payments, but maybe they'll get there. I don't know.
Yeah, one technology that I've been into, but it's probably going to take a long time, or I don't know if it's ever going to get mainstream, but I like the apps that wake me up that between maybe I gave like a 30-minute period to wake me up so I don't wake up like in the middle of a REM cycle.
Yeah, they sort of try to analyze when the best time would be to wake you up.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I don't charge my Apple Watch at night. Um, so I
The watch still charges pretty fast. Maybe if you charge it while you're taking a shower or something, it should be fine overnight, right?
yeah, um, this is trying to make it so you don't need, or the new version of the Whoop is going to vibrate to help you wake up, but I don't think
Oh, it
it's
doesn't have that already.
no, this yeah, the new one will. So the but I still think I'll wear the Apple Watch to wake me up because it's not like the variable like I like. It wakes me up between 5:30 and 6.
Yeah,
And
I should pay attention to those, all the sleep cycle stuff and sleep tracking, but I usually just go to bed way too late, put my Apple Watch on the charger, and then wake up too early, and then don't pay attention. Because what I really don't want is a device that's shaming me. I don't want to know like, oh, you should have slept a lot more, Nick. And I'm like, yeah, I know that, but I wanted to stay up. You know, what we love will ruin us, and I only have one life, so I have to remain awake for more hours than is sensible.
yeah, a couple of weeks ago, there's a conference for my church, and I always have a goal to like stay awake through all the sessions of it. And I
It's
always just
noble.
fall asleep during the sessions. But I think because I have all this data and know how much I should be sleeping and stuff, I was able to stay awake during all the sessions of the conference this last time. Kind of
Well, there you go. So you gotta wear it. You gotta buy the technology, because otherwise, what would you do?
if you don't wear it or use it, you'll fall asleep in wherever.
And then where would we be? You know, like if only we had a society which would let us have a reasonable work schedule and sleep a reasonable number of hours and be able to survive and own homes and have
Yeah,
families. But until all that happens, we're going to buy technology to let us sleep better.
yeah. Trevor has to work like 40, 50, 60 hours.
I honestly admire him. I can't do that. I mean, fucking privileged thing to say, but like I don't know. I work full time. I guess 8-hour shifts 4 times a week on my normal job, and that's like a decent amount. It's not like 5 days, but 4 days is still kind of a lot. It's that to me is already, that feels like a lot. And
Mhm.
because I'm somebody who has other things that he likes to do. I have hobbies. I have other business. I have my own business, my photography and stuff. So 4 days is reasonable. And after being used to my 4 day schedule, like I can only hope that I live long enough that a 4 day work week becomes slightly more common for people. I always say this, but I know that other places in the world maybe do this a little bit more, and it makes such a difference. Every I'd say half of November, most of December, I work full time my job because of holiday rush,
Mhm.
and that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But it reminds me, I'm like, okay, this is really hard. I still feel like 2 days is really hard. Like as a human, you no matter how much you love your job, you always want, how do you think you have one life, depending on what you believe. Let's go on the belief that you have one life and you're gonna live it here, and you're gonna like, do you want to spend what whatever percentage that is that much at your job, which maybe you're passionate about, but maybe you have other passions as well. Everybody has multiple things going on. I just wish we all had more time for the things that we enjoy. You know, I
Yeah,
I don't know. I would love. It's kind of opposed. I would love more money, which means I need to work more, but I also sometimes I don't mind not working if I can just do nothing. If I can lay around or I can go take a walk for 4 hours or something, that almost makes me feel better than being at work. Am I not making as much money? Yes, but if you evaluate it for yourself and decide what is actually making my life, my living better quality, and sometimes it's not being at work. You know, I don't know. So that my sort of triggered long-winded rant about, yes, we should all work less. We should enjoy ourselves more. We should we should splurge on the things that make us happy, and just try to enjoy the time that we have.
yeah.
Seems
I
fuck
bought that
fuck
drawing
working too much.
tablet.
Fuck the Chick-fil-A. I mean, sorry, what?
Yeah, I bought that drawing tablet so I could enjoy art and practice it again. But I could only find time to do it during my lunchtime because my home life demands all my time. I I I could only practice drawing for maybe like 20 minutes or so during lunch, but 20 minutes of every single day, I think it'll amount to develop into something.
It does add up. Anything that you do, if you anything you do every day, even if it seems like not that much, can add up. I was super honestly shocked. Like I have an on again, off again relationship with exercising. Sometimes, for a while, I was like, if I didn't do anything else, I would at least do 100 push-ups every day, and I was doing that for
Wow.
months. And even if it was split up, 40 in the morning, 60 in the evening, something. But eventually, I was like laying down. I looked at myself like, wow, my chest looks a little bit bigger. Like I actually can see a difference. But that's because it took a couple months of every day doing something, and I think that then I realized to myself, wait, there's the value. Like every single day you do it, you might not see a change, but you really have to stick with something. And I mean, that's obvious to say, but even with something like drawing or whatever you're doing, if you're a painter or a musician or you're you collect mushrooms or whatever the hell you do, like you might not find the thing you want, you might not do the thing you want, but maybe if you stick with it long enough, which usually is more than a day or a week, you have to kind of a couple months or half a year or whatever it is. Eventually, if you start drawing in a few months from now or a year from now, you're going to be like, wow, I've come far from where I started. And I always have to talk myself out of that. I find myself, like even if I'm doing something that feels insignificant, here I'm spending 15 minutes of my lunch break reading a news magazine that I trust. That means that, if I take that over a year, it's hours of interesting world news that I'm exposing myself to, and it's making myself a more well-read person who knows about the world, even if it feels like only a few minutes per day. So I think if you're only drawing 20 minutes per day or whatever you're doing, that still helps, right? It's going to add up eventually.
Yeah, I realized that when I'd play Pokemon while I walked to work, and I might see my hours, how many just counting up, even though I just do it while I'm walking to work.
Pokemon Go, like, or like,
No, on my Switch. It's
oh,
like,
which
oh, I got
which game are
40
you playing right now?
hours.
Are you playing what's the fucking latest one? Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I'm playing Sword and Shield. I I I only play while I walk to work. It's only like 30 minutes or so. It's like uh, every single day, little by little, adds up, and it's like 40 hours already. It's like, okay, maybe if I use this for something more productive, I could actually develop the skill or something.
Dude, I totally thought about that. As whoever might listen to this might know, Trevor and I play Overwatch essentially nightly for the last 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
and that goes from 30 minutes to 2 hours. I mean, like at least generally an hour every day. And at first, it's like, oh yeah, we're just. And honestly, to me, I don't really care about the game. For me, it's about connecting with a person that I don't see in real life. So like, it's kind of like a phone call. We chat, whatever. But we're still playing the game. And I look at my. I used to. It's funny. We have this other friend of ours, who it wasn't Overwatch, but he played a different game. I think it was TF2 or something. And he told us once he had played 1,000 hours of it or 1,500 hours of it, and I was like, it was hard for me to imagine. I was like, that seems like really a lot of time. And then I looked at my Overwatch stats. I'm at like 18 or 1,900 hours,
Wow.
and I was like, I've become what I once was confused by. But it's just one of those things. Eventually, if you enjoy something, you kind of stop counting it, and you look back, and you're like, wow, that's either. But then Trevor and I, one day we calculated it, and we're like, that's such and such days, weeks, months of full-time work.
Mhm.
And like we're like, wait, we're not being paid to play Overwatch, but we're being paid in happiness, I'd like to think. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess I guess what the moral of the story is, like, small things can add up if you do them for long enough, and then sometimes you learn a skill like drawing or composing or whatever, or sometimes you just still fucking suck at Overwatch and you've played almost 2,000 hours. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any other little mini topics that you wanted to kind of shout out there?
Not really.
I had one more little small thing. Nokia is re-releasing their little brick cell
Oh yeah, I
phone.
saw
I thought
that.
that was pretty fun. I saw somebody I follow on Twitter posted it, and it was, I guess I have to click the link or something, because I don't remember the exact model name. It is the, God, what's the name? The 6310. And I say that model name, and most people probably don't recognize. But if you see the picture, everybody recognizes that Nokia phone. It's like, what, the 2000 or the 2001. It was like an old candy bar style phone with a little screen, and you could play Snake on it. And
Yeah, I think I
it
have
is really
one.
funny because I remember spending a lot of time with a couple of friends of mine in middle school, and we didn't have cell phones, but one of their moms had a cell phone, and we would be waiting for their mom in the grocery store. We're all sitting in the fucking minivan, and like somebody has the Nokia, they're playing Snake, and we're all huddling over it watching them play Snake. Which I guess totally ages me because I've become an old man now. But they're releasing a new version of it, and so it's like the what was it, the 6310 20th anniversary version, and it's kind of fun. It's still kind of, I guess, what you call a feature phone or a dumb phone, but it's fun to see people do that. And every once in a while, I think to myself, would it be more freeing to like go back to the sort of the dumb? Well, I can't say go back to it. I've only ever owned iPhones, but go get a dumb phone or whatever, and just kind of not worry so much about having a computer with me. And then I come to my senses and be like, what the fuck? No, I need an iPhone. But it's fun to see them doing this. I don't know why. I mean, maybe a few people will buy it, but it's not that expensive too. It's like, I think it's 60 pounds British. So it's, what, I don't even know what that is, not 50 or 60 bucks here, something like that.
Mhm.
Or maybe 80 bucks. But whatever it is, it's fun to see them re-releasing that phone, because most people of a certain age at least have some memory of that old Nokia brick phone.
Yeah. Trevor and I watched James Bond on
He mentioned that, yeah. He
on
said he
Tuesday.
enjoyed it.
I thought it was funny because, of course, you have like product placement, but the phone that James Bond has, it was a Motorola.
I know Trevor fucking messaged me, and he's like, well, James, most of the iPhone's not good enough for James Bond. And I'm like, I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
Yeah, gotta get the product placement.
Yeah, I think, I mean, didn't was it the 2006 Casino Royale? He had like a Sony, right? I mean, I remember. Is it bad that I remember more about the phones than I do about like the movies,
Yeah.
or whatever that Batman movie that we had that see-through phone? But there's always and I think, and people accuse me of that too. People will be like, "Hey, Nick, what year did this happen, or what did this happen?" I'm thinking to myself, wait, how do I remember this? Okay, well, I took a picture of that party on this phone. That phone came, the 3GS came in 2009, so that must have been September 2009 or whatever. And I can go back through my life based on what iPhone I was using at the time. So I guess that's just, if you're a technology enthusiast, I guess that's how you remember time.
Mhm. Yeah. The James Bond movie was okay. Uh,
Just okay.
after the film, I wasn't like that was a great movie. It's just, it was just ended. it, it didn't feel like it was
It's a more
super.
tepid response than Trevor. Trevor said it was, well, I guess he said it was one of the best he'd seen or something. Then again, I don't know how many Trevor has seen. I mean, I've watched a couple of them with him, but I don't know if he's seen like most of them or just those. But
Yeah, I
Trevor
think
was
we
pretty
used to
up on
watch a
it. So.
bunch when we were young. Some of the old funny ones with like Odd Job and stuff.
Dude, yeah, um, that's kind of, I I don't want to say it's the best one, but it might be the best one. I mean, Goldfinger is really good, and it has
Mm-hmm.
Odd Job and Pussy Galore. So,
Yeah.
but I haven't watched the new one yet. I'm considering it. I should probably do that. But yeah, God, I feel I'm not like really nervous about it, but I haven't had a reason to go to a cinema really in like 2 years or whatever. Like I can't remember the last time I saw one, and I'm not. But now it's like almost inertia. I'm so used to not going to the movies. I always think to myself, well, I could go see it, or I could just not, and I don't. Like the last, I really wanted to see the third Conjuring movie that came out, and then it was on HBO, and I was like, well, I could just sit here and watch it, or I could go out to a theater and watch it. So I just watched it, and then the Fast and Furious movie came out, and I was like, well, I could rent this for $20 fucking, or I could go watch it, and I fucking rented it. So I don't know. But if the one movie I absolutely have to see in a theater is the new Matrix movie, and that's coming out in
Yeah.
December, I think. So I will get to a theater before too long.
Yeah, I was surprised because there's no social distancing and it's like uh, some old people sat next to Trevor and some old people sat next to my wife. Nobody was wearing masks. uh,
Yeah, I mean, well, things are different in the hinterlands, I guess, but I mean, here we've been on like mandated masks indoors up until like 1 or 2 weeks ago, and we finally have relaxed that because we've gone into a lower tier. But even then, out of all California and the nation, I think we're pretty low right now in transmission rates. So I kind of get that, but I don't know. I don't even know how to. I'm not a scientist. Sometimes I play one on TV, but I just I don't always know exactly what position I'd be taking on it all, but I generally just side in the side of safety. Like, it's not hurting me to put a mask on when I go to Trader Joe's. So I'm just gonna do that. I don't care what you guys think of me, but hey, just in case I have COVID, I'm not giving it to you. It's really at this point I've done it for a year or two, so it's not. I don't know. Like, what's another day wearing a mask? Like, would I love to take them off? Yeah, I would, and I'm vaccinated. But it also, I don't know, fucking man up, woman up, whatever up, just do it.
yeah.
I just want us to fucking end because I want to go to metal shows next year. That's if nothing, if for no other reason, I need to really just like I need to be in a big crowd again and not feel like I'm gonna be sent to the hospital with the virus. So
Do
hopefully that
you
all works out.
do you run around the mosh pit or you kind of
One time I was like accidentally in one kind of, so I had to kind of like push people away from me.
oh yeah.
But I'm more interested in the people on the stage. I'm sorry. Like and honestly, most of the shows I get there really early and it's like a standing crowd. So I get to the front and
Yeah.
I dash to the front. I've been in either the first, second, or third row of people in most of the concerts I go to, which I fucking love
Mm-hmm.
because I can see the people who are there. I'm there to see these people who generally come from Europe or wherever else, these symphonic metal bands. And it might be fun to mosh around and run around and fucking hit shit in the mosh pit, but I'd more likely like stare at the singer and just be like, "Oh my god, I'm falling in love with you again." So I don't know, but I did. Well, my claim to fame is I once gave a heart in the crowd right in front of Charlotte Wessels from Delane, and she gave it back to me, and I took a
Nice.
picture with her after the show. So you know, it's kind of meant to be. I'd rather do that than be in a mosh pit. But
Yeah. I got the autographs for Trevor with Symmetra and Sombra, and he was like super excited and like starstruck when they like
wait,
replied.
he was there?
No, he wasn't there, but
I
I
was gonna say because if he was there, I feel like I'm just gonna say I feel like I would have heard about it. He would have like been texting me like, "Oh, I just saw Symmetra."
no, but he posted a picture of it on Instagram, and they like liked. I don't know if they commented on it, but they like liked
Yeah, they liked it or whatever. Yeah, it's like, oh, senpai noticed me.
yeah.
I totally did. I've done that a couple times too. I think like one time I posted a picture of like a Within Temptation concert or some concert, and like the band liked my photo, and I was like, oh my god, they saw me. Oh my god. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool, like to be like an actor or a whatever it is, like to like one of your posts. It's pretty fun because it reminds you a little bit like, oh, this isn't just a fantasy. Like this is a real person who's probably looking at their phone and oh, they like your photo. Double tap. It's
Uh,
fun.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
I posted a blog post about all the stuff I learned. I went to a couple panels at the FanX. So if you want to see that, you could learn about how to be an artist without going to school and what it takes and stuff. And
Hey, I've done that, and it's gotten me this $40 iMac from the flea market. So
yeah, one thing they said is that you don't need to go to school to. I don't think you went to school for art or photography or anything. It was mostly learned from just practicing your profession.
it depends what you're doing. It's funny. I was at dinner with some family and friends last night, and my aunt's roommate's friends were at the dinner, and they were my aunt's roommate is incredibly intelligent and academic. He's studying theoretical math at the university and incredibly smart dude. Really like wow. Okay, you'll understand everything. And then he has friends, and they're all in the same sort of PhD program as him, and they were all talking about um, just it's just funny to live in a different world sometimes. Sometimes we all, depending on who, like I associate with the coworkers at work, and I associate with my friends. But then being in that, like I was like, wow, I'm like completely out of my league. But it is, I don't know. I guess I don't really know where I'm going with that, other than it's interesting to see sometimes how. Yeah, oh no, I know where I was going with that. One of the guys was talking about he used to work for Intel, and now he's working for Nvidia, and he's like a computer. He works in the deployment of certain GPU stuff and AI. Like it's a super high end job. And he said, certain companies they will just start paying you more if you have a higher degree. And so obviously in technology, sometimes that matters. It depends what you're in. If you're like an artist making your own money, maybe college doesn't matter at all. But I was actually kind of surprised. I thought like he said, no matter how good you are, they will only pay you a certain amount until you have another degree, and then they can get you to the next bracket of okay, we're allowed to pay you this much more.
Yeah.
And I can't say I'm super surprised, but I'm a little surprised. I never really considered it. I always thought to myself, a person's merit should show. Let's say you work at a big company for a long time,
Oh,
but if you've been there for long enough, you probably have earned this level of pay. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and he's only one data point, but I was surprised. So it was interesting to me. He was mentioning working for Intel and Nvidia, but I was like, wow. And so he's currently enrolled in a PhD program at the university here, hoping to get a raise at work because once he gets that, it will unlock a higher salary. Good for him. He can go from 200 to 250,000 a year, whatever he's doing. And it's funny because there's this separate, they were talking about that. My aunt and I are here, and she's a jeweler by trade who runs her own business, and I'm a photographer with a part-time job at a photography lab. And like both of us are like, yeah. And this guy's talking about how he just had a house constructed, and he's like, yeah, it took 6 months to build a new house, and I just had a third kid and all this stuff, and both of us are just like, I'm thinking to myself like, oh, I sat by myself and played Overwatch and had some good wine last weekend. And my aunt's like, oh yeah, I sat at my bench and made a couple of new pieces, and both of us are like thinking to ourselves like, well, what is our life? This guy's talking. So but it is interesting how some fields you really need the education, and sometimes you don't. So
yeah.
it's possible to make a living or a life or a name for yourself without it, but there are still jobs that unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, that can really require the seal of higher education.
Yeah. I have a friend or kind of a family friend. He he got basically a higher position than me without any degree. basically, I don't know what experience he has, but he didn't have a degree or study, but he got a position that's above one that I have right now, and he didn't go to school at all. And I think it's kind of interesting because of my jobs that I've had, they never checked my degree, or they just go by my experience on my resume and just know.
And you're kind of in the architectural field, right?
No, it's construction management. But yeah, in construction, you don't really need a degree. It helps with connections. There's no way I could have gotten my job without my degree. But for some people that have grown up in construction, they could probably get my same role without any
Yeah,
education.
that's interesting. You know, I've talked to some people. My uncle is like the success story of my family because he went to, you know, he left our small town and he went to whatever really fancy school of music over on the East Coast, and then he fucking hustled in New York for 20 years, and then he has found some success. You know, like one of his, he's like Grammy nominated, like big kind of in jazz, like a pretty good name. And then, and even he, I talked to him about school, and he's always been personally telling me to go to school and do all this stuff. I've always been like rebellious and saying, "Oh, fuck school, whatever." But he made a point too that it's not always about what you learn, but just the connections that you make.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it might not be, maybe, you know, you're, for whatever, let's say you're a whatever field you're in, you might already know more about it than your teacher, whatever, like if you're really that good. But the thing you don't have always is the connection to other people who are at your same level. I mean, like right now, I'm a I would say I'm an expert when it comes to things like image processing and Photoshop and photography. Like that's my life is images, but I don't have a big network of people. So maybe that's like what college would have given me, as opposed to here being kind of on your own. And you can attain the skill if you're dedicated. You can attain it on your own, but it's hard to find these connections that other people have.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that seems to be the summary of like Fanix and stuff.
Was there anything that you wanted to see when you were there, like that you were excited about? I mean, obviously you saw Overwatch voice actors, and your brother's super into Overwatch, but was there something that you were interested in while you were there that you were happy to have seen?
Uh, Not really. I was more interested in the two panels that I went to. I'm not. I haven't really watched like anime that much recently, so I kind of like lost connection of all the characters that people were dressing up as, and um, I'm not really into the comics and stuff. So
But through, was it
but
through work or something that you ended up getting some good tickets to that?
yeah, the CEO of my company organizes the event, so he got us the tickets.
Yeah, Trevor mentioned that. I was kind of surprised in a way. I was like, "Wow, you got some pretty good tickets for that." And he mentioned that you had gotten them through work, so I was pretty fortunate, you know, especially because Trevor is really into some of the people who were there. So hey, signature from Symmetra is worth a lot.
Yeah, Mercy and what's his name?
Was Lucio there?
Yeah, Lucio. They're there,
That's pretty
but I
fucking
didn't
cool
see
because
him.
Lucio's actor is awesome. I follow him on Instagram, and I don't know him at all, but he looks like a fun guy.
Yeah, my CEO. I think he likes collaborating with these celebrities because he says like, "Oh, my friend," like he calls him by his first name or whatever. It's like, and he showed a picture with him and Lucio and Tom Holland and stuff. It's like, yeah, because Tom Holland came last time in like 2018 or so.
Huh,
So
that's pretty cool. Yeah, well, I wish I was a CEO that could be friends with Overwatch actors and Spider-Man.
yeah,
But until then, I'll be, you know, I don't know,
taking
helping old
pictures.
people taking photos off their phone to make 4x6 prints at work, and then coming home and retouching my clients' work of other old people in front of the camera, which are beautiful, but need a lot of work with the under eye bags. So, you know, some people have their lives together, some people don't. But at the end of the day, wine helps.
Yeah. Thank you for your time and joining us each week.
No problem. I'm always eager to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And hopefully next time, I mean, hopefully sometime at all, we can have participation between the 4 potential hosts that we have. Because I know it's always a struggle to line up our schedules with you and Trevor and Kyler and I, but it would be kind of cool to do a sort of multi-person Zoom and we could all be talking to each other
Yeah.
face to face, kind of.
Well, yeah, I'll talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.